Hi, I'm Tony Jeary, and today we're going to talk about beliefs. Beliefs really do have a huge impact on a person's results, and I want to share with you from years of study that I've done on beliefs some of the distinctions that can help you produce better and better results. Now, to get started, I'd like to start with a quote. Be clear on the beliefs that you filter your life by. Again, I have some of the top people fly in from all over the world to come in and spend time with me, and they have failed to take the time to really dissect their beliefs. You know, we have people coming in, presidents of some of the largest companies in the world, come right here in the studio to really work with them to help them be their best. And almost always we start with the concept of what's on their belief window. And I want to share that with you today. So, as we're getting started, I'm going to ask you this question. What do you really want? You know, when you think about beliefs and you think about getting better results, well, I'd like to start with what you really want. And I put some things up on the screen here let's talk about for a minute. Do you want to grow your income? Chances are you do. Do you want to expand your business? Do you want better health? Do you want to spend more time with your family? Do you want better balance? And I'm betting as you look at that list for a minute, you would say that you want all of those. Well, I want to help you get those. It all starts with how you think, how you filter the world. Now, we're going to be looking at three things. Number one, we're going to be looking at blind spots, things that you don't see that are part of your world in terms of how you make decisions. Number two is we're going to look at distinctions. We're going to look at details and how you really dissect where you're going. And number three, we're going to look at perspectives, looking at different angles so that you can really have the very best chances, if you will, to make good decisions, to really go forward in the things that you're doing. So let's dive in. Here we go. So on the screen you're going to see here's a person on the left, and this could be you. Let's just imagine for a minute the person on the left is you, and you can see the world there on the right. And I'd like you to imagine for a minute between the person and the world is a window. See that window coming up? And on that window are little red dots that represent principles. Now those principles are things that come about in your life. Usually principles start in your upbringing. As you move through life, what you're doing is what? You're having experiences, you're reading books, people around you, and they're affecting the things that are on your window. And I'd like you to think for a minute, are the principles that are on your window today really the most accurate, the most truthful? Because sometimes we have principles on our window that really are not absolutely accurate, and they flaw us. They actually cause us to have to work harder and harder and harder to get results. Yet if we would change and look at the distinctions, we'd be able to really be more accurate in what we're doing. For example, matter of fact, look at the screen for just a second, and you can see right there the little X popping up. Sometimes, again, we have those flaws, and I'd like to share a few with you. Back in 1996, I had a gentleman come up to me one day, and he said, Tony, he says, we're going to start doing emails. What do you think about that? Something new coming out, it's really going to help us communicate better. And I said, well, Giff, you know, we've been doing faxes for years. We got the system down. Everything is really working well. I think we're going to just keep sticking with the fax system that we have. And he said, no, it's going to be much more efficient with email. Well, I had a blind spot. You know, I had a flaw in my window. I wasn't realizing that technology was advancing so that emails would be an exceptional way to really communicate. And I'm sure you can relate to that. Matter of fact, you may even put a smile on your face right now as you're thinking about that. Maybe some things like that have happened to you where technology has moved forward, or different things that may be on your window all of a sudden you've discovered were inaccurate. Now here's one I'd like to share with you, one that almost everybody can relate to. Years ago, my parents taught me, and this is a long time ago, my parents taught me, sticks and stones will break your bones, but names will never hurt you. And for years I thought that was an accurate principle. Well, as I grew up, I came to realize that when you say things to people, it really does impact their self-esteem, how they see themselves. And so it really was an incorrect principle. So I had to change that. Now, as good as my parents are, and as loving as they are, they just gave me an incorrect principle. And so I'm asking you today, as you're looking at your window, do you have any principles that are inaccurate? Things that you've had on your window for a long time? Is there any blind spots? Is there any distinctions? Is there any perspectives that you need to change? So we're going to go through all three of those and think about what's on your window. So let's go first to the FedEx. Now, this is a logo that's been out based on my research since 1992. A guy named Leader presented this to Fred Smith. And this particular logo is seen all the time. You see it almost every day of your life. You see it on a package or on a vehicle, or you see it on a box, you see it on the computer. And when you see the logo, most people do not see the arrow inside the logo unless someone's pointed it out to them. So I'm going to pause for just a moment and I'd like to see if you can really see the arrow inside that logo. And again, if it hadn't been pointed out to you, chances are you are not going to see it. But I'm going to go ahead now and click it so you can see it. It's right there between the E and the X. There's an arrow. Something that day in and day out you're seeing, but perhaps there's a blind spot there that you didn't see it. In the medical term, it's a scotoma. Well, as you're traveling through life, business and personally, I'm going to ask you today to ask yourself, is there any blind spots that you have on your window? Is there any things that you're not seeing? And chances are there are. And I'm going to give you some distinctions. I'm going to give you some solutions in just a few minutes on how we can deal with that. So, number one, I want you to think about blind spots. One of the things that really does impact our success and how we get results in life.